Hello, humans. Master Dinnerflex here, and today I'm going to be on my third installment of Look into the Lair. And I gotta be totally honest with you, the structure deck itself, if you were to buy 3 structure decks, you would most likely not have not even just competitive, but borderline unplayable deck within them. And I'm going to explain why first off. So, when you're looking at the deck itself, and if you're actually playtesting, you'll notice there's a small problem with your deck. It has absolutely no way of gaining card advantage within the main core strategy. Its most optimal hand lets you go +1. And that is really, really bad because trash can go +1 with a bad hand. So there's the first problem. The second problem is the viruses itself are only side deck cards, and that's the absolute truth. Because let's say you just happen to get the setup, which isn't guaranteed in the deck. What's to say that the viruses just don't hit your opponent's deck enough or at all? And that happens plenty of times. And third and finally, there are too many aggressive cards in the deck. But then you have Lilith, which is a very slow setup card. And this is one of the problems. In order for Lilith to be good, you have to have both Lilith and Diabolos, which getting to Diabolos is a piece of cake, but getting to Lilith is actually pretty difficult because she's worthless without Diabolos. And not only is she worthless without Diabolos, the things that she can get just aren't good enough anymore. She can grab Torrential. It's only good in certain scenarios. Back to the Front is not very good in the current meta. And like Dimensional Barrier is a good card, but it's a side deck card. And Sanctum is probably the best stuff, but it loses to True Draco. Unless you're playing Moral Talk. So there's a lot of problems with this card. There's actually a huge amount of problems with this card. And she's only really good while Lair of Darkness is up. And the issue with Lair of Darkness is that you only want to see it once ever. So having 9 ways to get to it means you have 9 dead cards in your deck. Or 8 dead cards. Because as soon as you see Lair of Darkness, you never want to see it again. It doesn't give you advantage outside of tokens. And there's no value in the second or third one. So that's a thing. So yeah. These are the fundamental problems with this deck, and they're actually so bad that 3 of the structure deck does not give you a playable deck. So how do you circumvent all these problems? Well, in order to prevent any of these problems from happening, you actually have to play aggressively. And you have to play cards that gain you card advantage or are good and guaranteed negs on your opponent. And a perfect example of a way to gain card advantage is Malicious, Dark Worm. Just very good cards at gaining advantage. Not to mention, you also have guaranteed negs like Caius. And a better one I actually was thinking about is Agmir, the Fiendish Monarch. Because, well, first off, the whole point of the Monarch is you contribute a Dark, which triggers Diablos automatically. And then afterwards, you get a Banish Some, or Agmar allows you to banish a spell to grab that same spell from your deck to your hand. So if you have like an Allure engraved, you can banish it to grab another Allure, which neg 1 for the tribute, but then a 1-for-1 for the tribute's resolution. And then you got an Allure on hand, which is pretty solid. And then Malicious is a way to get to +2 and allows you to tribute. And Arima is actually just of the 3 little guys, he's probably the best one. Not only does he guarantee you the field spell, but his tribute effect is really, really powerful. It lets you thin your deck or draw cards, or it gets you to the field spell. And like, its stats aren't impressive, but that doesn't matter. This card is probably one of the best. And the other one I'm kind of iffy on. I really like it, but it's like so much of a it can be so dangerous to activate at the wrong time because it locks you out of the extra deck except Darks, which I've played around with extra deck to make sure that he's as live as he can possibly be. But grabbing back a level 5 Dark is actually really, really powerful. Not only can you like tribute summon Caius, banish a guy, tribute the Caius for him, and then grab back the Caius, but you can also Armageddon send Dark Armed, and then tribute the Armageddon to grab Dark Armed, which is insanely powerful. And yeah, that's mostly it. So like this deck isn't very, like the one I'm showing you right now on screen isn't very powerful, but it's something that you should be looking towards. You should be looking for cards like these, very proactive, very cards that get you cards. They don't just one for one. You need pluses. You need pluses to facilitate your plays. And as soon as you get Diablos out, it's not enough. Like, Diablos with a few things is what you're wanting, because Diablos can neg out of their hand, and 2 Diabloses cycling themselves late game is insanely powerful. But as soon as you get the late game set up, you're so golden. Like, but that's the thing. The viruses don't get you there. Lilith doesn't get you there. Lilith is way too conditional. And traps just aren't good enough. Normal trap cards. So that's why the Solemns are some of the only trap cards people play nowadays, is because this is what traps need to be. And if we're not gonna get new traps for Lilith outside of viruses, then you can't really hope that this works. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this video, and hopefully you kind of understand where I'm coming from, that after testing this deck so much, I realized that a lot of the flaws were just hoping that a virus hits and hoping you can even set up the virus, which doesn't happen very much. So I've been testing some new things, and I've been tinkering around a bit, and I'm finding more and more solutions to many of its problems. So yeah, that's about it. Thank you all for watching, and remember, Master Dinnerflax will take your soul.